one vital fact I would like to submit.
What is cracking, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well on this wonderful Tuesday night. Hopefully staying safe and sane. You know what I'm saying? My name is AJ, one half of this dynamic duo. Don't worry, that's the most of the math we're going to be doing today. And before we get to our amazing, wonderful guest tonight that we've sadly behind the scenes talked to before, let me introduce my amazing co-host.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Tuesday night podcast here at Poiema Studio. Bringing mental health awareness, and the mission is suicide prevention. Thank you so much for tuning in again this Tuesday night. Thank you, AJ.
Studio podcast.
Yes, it's been a week, and now we're back.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to share and introduce share Edgar's story and just introduce him. So how about we start with you letting us know what you do, a little bit about yourself, and then we could talk a little bit more about why you're involved with Poiema and everything like that.
Say your full name.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me today. My name is Edgar Candales. I'm actually a small business lender, particularly with the Hispanic community. Of course, I work with all kinds of communities, but typically minorities. And it's a pleasure being able to be here with you guys and being able to kind of be on this great podcast that I think is definitely making a difference in the community. And again, pleasure to also be here with AJ, which is great guy. And I'm sure you guys know that already.
I hope so, man. I hope after a few episodes they get a little bit of, a little taste, you know what I'm saying? Like Costco, you go around getting the samples. You don't get all of it. You don't want to give them too much. They got to pay for the rest.
And I just want to say shout out to LA, man. I love that LA hat, repping.
Shout out.
And I just want to take a quick moment just to honor these boots.
Yes. Thank you.
We're not sponsored here, but we definitely are looking for a sponsor.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, flannels and boots. I actually got these in Nashville a few weeks ago. So shout out to Corral Boots, made in Mexico. Sponsor.
We might be going back soon,
Yes. I can't wait. Yeah.
Hey, I can't wait for that one.
That's going to be our first traveling podcast segment with a drumming.
Spoiler alert.
A drumming artist that we met out there. So that'll be for the September podcast. Yeah.
Sounds cool.
So a little bit about yourself, Edgar. ¿De dónde vienes? Where are you from? Where's your family from?
Hey,
why the minority community?
So actually, great question. And I know AJ is going to definitely give me a smile here. Pura Sierra, aquí de Durango.
Oh, that's why you wore that shirt?
You know what I'm saying? You got to represent the homies.
Shout out to Durango.
Hey.
Nice.
Santiago Papasquel. And essentially, I was originally born in Mexico. I was born in Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, but obviously the sangre is from Durango. That's where my family's from, and that's why we can relate. And I was actually, I lived in Mexico for a couple of years and moved here. But it was completely different. And, I didn't grow up, having a lot of privileges, but, my mom did what she could. Unfortunately, my mom did pass away at 17 years when I was 17 years old. And that changed my life a lot, and I think maybe a lot of people who's watching this episode could probably relate in some way or another. And I think that's the reason why it's important, because when a loved one passes away, I think you have a change of focus, right? You have a change of mindset, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. In this case, we want to influence everyone to have a positive mindset, just because again, the main purpose is suicide prevention, right?
Yes, exactly.
And that's kind of why I'm excited to be here, because one of the main things when I met Gabby, obviously, I love this, I love what you guys do here. I think you guys are true, living legends of what it is to really support that space.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
But for me, I think finances has a lot to do with mental wellness, right? And suicide prevention. And I think, that's kind of why I partnered up with Gabby and why I want to be part of her foundation and help out and bring a different aspect to the table, right? More of a financial setting. And obviously, surrounded by the great energy that you, of course, bring, AJ. The energy that Gabby brings, and our cameraman Ed, which is,
we haven't said hi to today.
Shout out Cosmic Creation.
Yes. No, and that's actually how we met. You helped me open my business account through Wintrust, and we started talking about how important finances were.
That's right.
Actually, a financial crisis is the number one reason why people take their life.
Yeah.
And so creating, I think, financial wellness in our community a lot of times is a challenge because we don't, apart from coming here from Mexico and not having the resources that normally someone would have already if they're established in this country, is we don't get taught these things.
Yeah.
So I really love how you are proactive in the community. You actually started a YouTube channel.
That's right.
Small Business Adventures. Tell us about that.
So plug alert here.
Yes, of course.
So I actually, I think one of the biggest things that I saw in 2020 was, the need for small business, especially Hispanic small business owners, that essentially could share their story, with or needed to share their story in some kind of way, or don't share their story because they don't have an outlet to essentially share their story with. And, I started this YouTube channel, Small Business Adventures, where I get to actually interview Hispanic business owners and minority owners who essentially are able to share why they started their business, kind of what were the setbacks, and what kind of advice they can give to maybe someone who wants to do or go into that particular industry. And it's really nice because you get to kind of meet some, you might know this business owner, you might gone to their shop a million times, but you get to know them on a different level, a different space.
Yes.
And I think that's important to share because I think we can all learn or take some kind of, piece of advice from them that might help us in our personal life. So, yeah.
No, I think that's great because we actually had Anna here. She owns a restaurant in downtown Elgin. And we were talking about how difficult it is to start a business, especially to maintain a business through the pandemic, the mental health, self-care, things that you need to do as a business owner. It's totally different because you have a lot of things that now you have to overcome as a business owner. So I think it's great because apart from, selling a business, you're sharing a story of such a personal story that people can connect with. So it's super awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to sit down with business owners and have the opportunity to get them, to get to know them on a different level and essentially, get closer to them and see maybe if there's something of a value that, we can bring to each other and help each other. Because really, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's helping each other. It's really trying to, to be there for one another. And that's the reason why, because I feel like, a lot of people, don't have that kind of mentality. They don't have that mentality and wanting to help other people. And
it's very me nowadays.
Exactly. And I think when you can kind of take a step back and you can really see the person for who they are, not see them for a sale or see them for kind of benefit, I think that opens different doors in your lives. And people buy people first. This is it's all about relationships. So, that's how I got to meet, the funny story is the way I met Gabby is AJ's mom, Violetta.
Shout out, mama.
Which we worked together at Wintrust, and we always had a pretty good, coworker relationship and, friends.
My birth giver is the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out, Violetta, man, you're awesome.
Shout out EXP, you know what I'm saying? Plug. NARA, whatever.
And president of the North Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So shout out to them.
Yeah, you're also a board member there, right?
Real,
yes. Yeah, and that's the reason why, I think, I'm even more happy to share this because Violetta actually recommended Gabby to come see me, and that's how we were able to kind of get in touch. And if it wasn't for Violetta and that the whole connection, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we are. I'm glad that I have the opportunity to share and share ideas with you. But also, there's some big things coming, guys, and
Yes.
I think Gabby is monumental to this movement. And I'll tell you guys, I mean, there's not a lot of Hispanic, like I guess you would say, social or social workers like you guys, or really the advocates for mental awareness or mental health. And the fact that we do have Hispanic people that are trying to reach that goal, I think is awesome. That's the reason why I support you guys in the mission. So.
Thank you. I was gonna ask, like you just said, some great things are coming in the works. Should we give them a little bit of a?
I think we should.
Sneak peek, a little tease.
Yeah, this will be actually the first video that we share about a foundation that I started or that we're working to start, the Gabby Vargas Foundation. Why my name? It's because of my story and the need that I saw for, funding to give education, awareness, and support. Like I said, part of breaking the stigma through this platform is helping people, especially in the minority community, see the value that comes with this support, So we're very, very excited to share that you're going to be our treasurer. And,
thank you.
We are just so blessed to have you be part of this because, like, even when we met, we shared that heart for the community. And that's what it comes down to, serving the community, like the people we can understand, So thank you so much for, accepting that position or, helping us and inspiring us to, the more we can find people that are passionate, it's going to be easier for us to help the community.
No, I think, another thing too is, I mean, AJ's story as well, I think is something that also kind of, also moved me. And how old are you, AJ?
I'm 22, you know what I'm saying? That's
20.
That's a 2, and then there's another 2 right after that.
22, and you're an ambitious guy. I think he has the both of you guys are ambitious, but I think both of you guys they both have a very particular story. I think that drew me in, and I think that's the reason why I wanna be part of the foundation, and as well as my man Ed. So don't leave Ed out.
Never,
he's back there.
And I think I'm just happy to essentially be here and being able to kind of help or contribute to a financial aspect. I mean, I did want to mention on the podcast as well that I actually, my bank and the bank I represent and myself, we do a lot of Money Smart classes. What that is essentially financial literacy classes for adults who are not essentially don't have a lot of knowledge on financial terms or are financially literate. And if by any means anyone's interested, please let us know. That's definitely something that we definitely want to include in on the studio side. Some kind of financial course where obviously we with your feedback, right? Because we need some topics.
I'm actually really looking forward to that, to be able to have some classes here at the studio or at our location for the foundation in Schaumburg, because I think that a lot of people get scared with the suicide prevention topic or cause. They're like, well, I'm not suicidal, but there's so many things that come before someone wanting to take their life. When someone decides that suicide is the way they want to address their pain or their suffering or just the crisis. Some people are so stressed out with financial problems, relationship problems, that suicide becomes the way out. So again, that's what we hope to do, break the stigma as to why sometimes people take their life. And I think that, bringing you into the work, it definitely helps us reach those that are out there struggling. I know with COVID, have you seen a rise of people struggling with the financial through COVID?
Yeah, that's a great question, Gabby. Actually, I've been in contact with some of the community leaders within the obviously this area, the Northwest area of Illinois, and there's a lot of mental illness out there for our Hispanic community, and I think part of our culture, that machismo culture is essentially it's not helping these people ask for the help that they need. And I think obviously, and you can probably relate this, obviously sometimes being a man, you kind of want to tough it out and you
and
Most
definitely.
you wanna be as tough as nails, but I think it comes to a point where I think you have to realize that getting help is the right thing, and the thing is,
that's a tougher, more manly thing to do is to admit, not defeat, but to admit that you need help.
And I think because take it from experience. When I was younger and I went through my mom's loss. I pushed everyone away. I pushed everyone away, and I said, I don't need help. I could do this on my own. But I was wrong. I was really wrong, because when you want to do things on your own and you don't want people's help, and you think hey, whatever, I'll suck it up. You're gonna bring yourself to some pretty dark places, and I've been in those dark places, guys, and I recommend for anyone who's watching this, seek help. Come hang out here if you need to. Spend time here at the studio. Reach out to to Gabby or AJ, and just open up. Open up and see how we can help. I tell you that sometimes just talking to some people, you can really open them up and see what they're going through, and guess what, there's people out there who have solutions for you, or at least can point you in the right direction. So don't be shy, don't let that stigmatism, get to you. Open up, if you guys need help, please, not besides being a financially, an advocate for pushing and educating Hispanics, I'm an individual as well, So besides that, my first mission is to help people. Yeah. Second mission is then financially.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's the thing that sometimes like we share, it's not just like you may come to someone and they might not have the answer or the solution, but they can connect you with someone else. And
that's right.
Like we don't have it all together. We're just as human. We have our own struggles, right. And like that's what we want to like break the stigma through this platform to share with others. Like we're all going through something, and that's sometimes right. You just need that motivation or that inspiring story that you need to hear so that you don't feel so bad about what's happening in your life. There's help out there, and like what you were saying, for us, it's very important to bring mental health awareness in the male like aspect of things, because 8 out of 10 suicides are men. And so like especially in the Latino community, men are, like you said, the machismo is sure. Like you have to be the leader, you have to be strong, when really like we need these men to know that they could be, like I would say, like quote unquote weak, or like what they would say, like just be vulnerable to say I need help, because that strengthens the whole family as a whole. I know you shared about your mom's passing. Like what was this in Mexico or here?
Actually, we lived here. We don't. Well, I mean, obviously she lived most of her life. Mm-hmm. I guess it was 50-50, but she actually passed away here in Chicago, and obviously, and maybe a lot of people have seen that throughout COVID. They lost a loved one to COVID, and I can probably tell you, a handful of people that I work very closely, lost a parent, and that affected them big time. It affects you big time, where some of these people resigned off the boards that they were on to take some time away to focus on their health, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Yeah. If you need to maybe set some projects aside just because just to kind of better yourself, take your time. Yes. I can tell you that being a busy person, we all are here. Sometimes you just need to go do something fun, or maybe just clear your schedule off and focus on you. Give yourself time. Remember, you gotta love yourself first before you can love anyone. Yes. Get to know yourself, and I think probably the biggest thing is ask for help. Ask for the help, and you got two great leaders here who are more than willing to help, who have gone out of their way to create a YouTube channel that obviously there's a lot of hours of work that goes. Ed can be our witness to that.
Oh, Ed can attest for sure.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do this without Ed, and we appreciate him.
For real, shout out Ed again.
Shout out Ed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think AJ and I've ever shared really how we met in like the support group that we had started, and we hope to continue having here at the studio. But I think that sometimes we just need connection, like human connection, someone that can, be vulnerable with you as well, and just share these stories that like inspire you to have hope and, see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because sometimes that's the hardest part.
And not judge you too, like just kind of give you that ear. Just even if you don't agree with the person, like the decision they possibly made, it's not the moment or time for that. Mm-hmm. We're here to hear you out and listen out for you, and then also just kind of build you back up.
Yeah.
in a way, you know, no judgment at all. Because once you judge somebody, you take away that ability to be vulnerable, because then they just assume that no matter what they do, they're going to be looked at as like a failure or something. And it's not the moment to do that. It's the moment to be like, well, you made a mistake, but you're not a failure. You know,
Yes.
there's still a possibility to keep going, and there's people here that are going to support you despite your mistakes.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about yesterday, because we got trained to use the Narcan for, actually today is Overdose Awareness Day. And we were talking about that because a lot of times we self-medicate and we cope with things that are not the healthiest for us. And that's another thing. Like sometimes people have certain behaviors that, like, you know, because they're human and they're trying to cope, and sometimes it's hard for family and like friends to understand, like, why are you doing that? Like, why can't you stop? And really, like, at the end of the day, if there's life, there's hope. There's, you know, if you're alive, then we can find help, then we can find professionals to help you. But like, again, that is a big thing, you know, sometimes like just being non-judgmental and just allowing people to be like human, you know, that's the biggest, most important thing, I think, at the end of the day.
Very true.
I think that's right. And you know, AJ, I mean, I you know, I'll you know, between, you know, the story that between us, and when I heard your story, like I said, you know, earlier, you know, I think, you know, being as young as you are and being able to be an advocate, you know, I think that's great. And, you know, for me, you know, I look up to people like you guys who are really going out of your comfort zone, because you do, you know, you have to go out of your comfort zone. You have to share your story. It's not easy sharing your story. I think it's painful. It brings you back to a certain place. But, you know, if that's the best way to reach someone, to share a message, then, you know, you guys are doing what it takes, you know, and, you know, and that's the thing, me, you know, with me too, you know, I tell people about what happened with my mom, and I think probably that's one of the things that changed my life, and, you know, it made me who I am today. So accept your story, be your story, live your story.
I love that.
And don't be afraid, you know, don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. You know, when you put everything on the table, guys, you know, no one's going to be able to judge you. And if they judge you, it's okay. You know, they themselves are not sure about themselves. And I agree with AJ, you know, it's never okay to judge someone. And because everyone's life is different, you know, to totally. Really, you know, it's, you know, life doesn't have one straight path, you know, or else we would all be.
We would all be in the same place.
Your path should definitely look different. And I thank you for coming on, you know, in sense, because you're adding to our team in the sense, and showing everybody else as well that it's okay to be vulnerable. So that's a big step of you. So thank you again for joining our posse, you know what I'm saying, the Poiema podcast, the PP, you know what I'm saying? Shout out, family. Shout out the crew. But for real, like we were talking about, it's always good. I think that's what we try to bring here, is that family, you know, in our definition of family, which is a lack of judgment and more of a gaining of awareness and empathy. You know, to be like,
that's right.
Look, like we might not be in your shoes, but it doesn't matter. We'll try to understand you despite that, and we'll try to help you along the way. You know,
of course, and you know, I think. You know, you guys have both, you know, done a lot, and you know, Gabby and AJ have both built a lot of connections that, you know, are monumental, you know, and for her to be on even at Univision, you know, I mean, obviously she's catching the eye of these, you know, huge,
big name
TV producers, and you know, I think that, you know, there's going to be, you know, this is a movement, guys. This is not, this is not just you know, something that's, you know, a YouTube channel, and this is a movement that I think is going to influence a lot of people.
The YouTube channel is the avenue.
Exactly.
For the movement to be pushed forward through.
Exactly.
There's plenty of avenues, but this is one of them, and hopefully you can help us spread that. So like it, share it, comment, do all that beautiful thing.
Hey guys, when you get a moment, like, comment, subscribe, please share it with people.
Poiema Studio Podcast, you know what I'm saying? Shout out.
Yeah. No, I think that for us, like, we really appreciate, like, people like you that are willing to sit in this, you know, space and share your story, or just share words of encouragement for our community.
Thank you.
And we hope to continue bringing guests in that will share their stories. Next month, September, is National Suicide Awareness Month. So watch out for the events that we'll be having here at the studio. We're going to be having an open mic night once a month, so we can, you know, share like whatever form of art that people use to express their feelings. We're very excited about that. But again, you know, we wouldn't be able to be here without people that just push us forward. Like you were saying, Univision, yes, but like our community, just we have friends like the Poiema family that we push each other forward. It's awesome to have a crew of like we call each other a family that allows us to be vulnerable and allows us to be human, because that's the hardest part. Sometimes just sharing your personal story with people, you don't know how they're gonna react, you don't know what they might say. But to me, like especially, like it's so hard sometimes to share like really personal stories of myself, because I'm like, I don't want to disrespect my family. I don't want my family to think that I'm putting things out there, but I know that someone out there needs to hear this. They need to have to hear that story, to be able to see their life in a different way. So thank you again, Edgar, so much for everything that you've done for us up to today, and we really look forward to the work that we're going to continue doing and moving forward.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Yes. So one question that we ask our guests is, if you could go back or like give advice to the younger Edgar, like probably high school, 17, what would that advice or words of encouragement be? What do you think you would tell yourself?
The best piece of advice that I would have given myself, younger Edgar, would be, no matter what happens in your life, be happy. Know that people are always going to be there for you. If that's your family, if that's friends, but you'll never walk alone. First of all, you have your family, you have God, but always don't let anyone or anything rob your happiness. Because once you do let them, you yourself are not living anymore, and you're dying. If you can't truly find that joy in your life, then what is life? So that's probably the best advice I would give myself. That don't let anyone rob anything from you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Before we go, we should probably plug my boy, Edgar. You want to hit us with where they can find your gorgeous face at? You know what I'm saying? You got to admit, he's a cutie. You know what I'm saying? 10 out of 10.
Thank you. Well, I probably would say that I do release about one episode a month, where I do sit down with, like I said, small business owners. That's the Small Adventures channel. You can also catch me at on Instagram at EDC. So it's AT, not like an at, but ATEDC27.
Yes.
And by any chance, guys, if you guys ever want to shoot maybe a financial question, or maybe you're going through a rough patch and you're looking for some kind of financial advice, please let me know, let Gabby know, or come to the studio. We'll work something out. I'm always willing to help. And I do speak Spanish as well. I don't know if you guys could tell, but
¿Y bailas duranguense?
yeah, of course. Norteño, baby.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, let us know if you have a small business you want to, share your story. We'll definitely connect you with Edgar and, share your personal story. Again, thank you so much for being here. We're going to be seeing more of you, and hopefully we'll bring in more episodes in this podcast to talk about finances and like how we could be more financially savvy. So
of course, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also in the descriptions we will have my information, Gabby's information, and if you didn't catch what Edgar said, we'll probably slide it in there too, because there's no way I would have heard that and wrote that all down. I would have to replay that like 60 times or something to be like, wait, what is ATEDC?
yes.
Got it.
Yeah, we'll put it in there.
And guys, if you do have questions and you guys have some feedback for us, maybe on a specific financial topic that you guys want to learn more about, if that's learning more about credit, how to start credit, how to repair your credit, please leave a comment below and let us know. And we definitely would like to take the time to educate. Obviously, one of the biggest things is working on your financial foundation,
helping the community in where we can.
Yeah.
So
thank you guys. Little by little, we'll be making a difference. Again, thank you, Cosmic Creations, for making this video possible so we could share with the community. And we will see you guys next Tuesday for our podcast, Flannels and Boots. Don't forget.
Oh, she's always packing the flannels.
I'm gonna have to wear a flannel next time we come.
Yeah, next time you have to wear a flannel.
Hey, you gotta check in for that one. We gotta see how Edgar looks in flannel. He pulls off the whole suit thing, but can he pull off the lumberjack?
Flannel suit?
That what?
Flannel suit or vestido de
charro? Yeah, a flannel suit.
Like a runway show, but it's like flannel.
Is that going to be a new thing then? We're going to come up with that.
Hey, what's it called? 100 likes, and you'll see me in in a flannel
A
suit.
flannel suit,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We'll get it made for you.
I'm liking it. I'm liking
Sure.
it.
All right, you guys. See you guys next week. Thank you again for
Thank you,
watching and
everybody.
tuning in. Poiema Studio Podcast.
We love you.
We love you guys.
Get out my face, get out my mind. You ain't safe, no, not this time. I'm not okay, but that's alright. I might stray, but I'll return for my ashes in that urn. Had to say, get out my face, get out my mind. You ain't safe, no, not this time.